Hi guys, it's Ben Heath from Lead Guru, and in this video I'm going to talk about whether or not Facebook ad costs are going to decrease in the future. Now that's not typically what we've seen with Facebook advertising costs. Those of you who've been involved in this industry over a number of years will have seen costs increase. But are we about to see the opposite? I think there's a chance we will. I'll explain why in a minute. Before I get into that, I just want to very quickly ask you to smash that like button and subscribe to my channel if you are new and haven't done so already. So before I get into Facebook ad costs decreasing, there's something I wanted to share which I think is really important. Now this is an article from CNBC on their website, and there's all the major news outlets have reported on Facebook's profitability really in Q1 of 2021. And you can see that their headline is Facebook revenue rises 48% driven by higher priced ads, okay? So immediately that tells you a lot. But if I scroll down to some interesting stuff, I want to show you first this graph, okay? So this is quarterly results, and this is quarterly average revenue per user. So we can see that what we need to do, this is Q1 2021, so that ended fairly recently. We're in Q2 2021 as we're recording this video. Now it looks like it's gone down on the quarters, but you have to fully discount Q4, which is what that is, because revenue is always higher, there's a lot more advertiser activity, there's Christmas, all that sort of stuff. So you have to discount that. What you need to compare is Q1 2021 to Q1 2020. You can see Q1 is typically the first quarter of the year is typically the smallest. And you can see that there's a big old increase. We're looking at what? Roughly $7 per user there, up to, well, you can see it's $9.27. And you can see here, the company reported revenue of $26.17 billion for the quarter, which was up 48% compared with a year prior. So same period comparison to last year. That's also pre-pandemic Q1, literally just about. We've seen a 48% increase. So I think there's a lot of Facebook advertisers that are looking at their campaigns and they've just seen their costs steadily going up and up and up if you've been advertising for, say, that 12-month period. And you may be thinking, is it ad fatigue? Are there things that I need to change in my campaign? And that may well be a part of it for you if you have seen costs increase. But a lot of it is quite simply this, is the fact that their revenues are up 48% and they generate their revenues nearly exclusively from advertising. There's a little bit of other stuff, but it's basically all ads from you guys. And they're generating significantly more revenue per user. Right, how does that happen? It happens because of increased advertiser demand for those users, for those eyeballs, for that ad real estate within the platform. So the increased advertiser competition, so more Facebook advertisers, more advertisers spending more money on the platform, means that prices rise. Those prices rise, it makes it more difficult for you as a Facebook advertiser to get fantastic results with Facebook and Instagram ads. That's just an unfortunate truth, and that's certainly something that's happened. Now, this has been accelerated by the pandemic and people being in lockdown and businesses having to turn to online. And that's, you can see, from sort of 2020, it was right at the end of Q1 here, is when that all started to kick into play. And you can see that this has grown significantly in comparison to previous years. So if Facebook ads costs have been increasing and that has led to it being more difficult for us as Facebook advertisers to get great results, what is going to happen going forward? Are we going to continue to see costs decreasing? Well, actually, as you may have worked out from the title of this video, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually start to see a decrease in costs. And the main reason for that is iOS 14. So I think that iOS 14, the changes that are being enforced, and it's not just iOS 14, there are going to be other changes coming into play. Like in 2022, it's being talked about that we're going to be entering into a cookieless world and you won't be able to retarget website visitors at all. A lot of this is going to, I think, it's going to put off advertisers. I think there's probably a lot of Facebook advertisers that have seen a drop off right now and are going to leave the platform. And I think that reduction in competition is going to reduce the cost of Facebook advertising. We are going to see a decrease in costs. And for those of us that stick it out, and for those of us that work out how to get our campaigns to produce great results under the new paradigm, the new setup, it actually might be very, very beneficial. It seems almost contradictory that bad Facebook advertising news might be good for Facebook advertisers, because all the sort of fair weather Facebook advertisers that have attracted to the platform and hear all the good news stories, they're going to leave, and they're going to leave it for those of us that stick around. And we might have more ad real estate that we can buy with the same amount of ad spend, which is going to help improve our results. Okay, I absolutely think that's happening. I think we're not going to see it for a few quarters for it to appear in Facebook's numbers. It's definitely something I'd recommend keeping an eye on, is what does Facebook's quarterly revenue look like? Because if that starts to decrease in comparison to previous years, or even not even comparison to previous years, I mean, there's a massive increase, look, from 2020 Q1 to 2021 Q1. If we see it start to come down in comparison to what it is now, because typically over the quarters we see a steady increase, then that is a real indication to me that advertisers are either scaling back budgets or leaving the platform. I think for a lot of businesses we're seeing both. Of course, there are always going to be businesses that join the platform. There are always going to be businesses that are scaling up, that are getting great results. We've got clients like that right now, which is fantastic. And we're taking on new clients, which is fantastic. But overall, we might see a bit of a movement away from platform, movement to other platforms, or maybe even some offline advertising or other forms of digital advertising. And that might be fantastic for us advertisers to stick it around. So paradoxically, as a Facebook advertiser, someone who uses Facebook ads a lot, who perhaps relies on the customers and clients generated through Facebook and Instagram ads for your business, you kind of want the news to get as bad as possible about Facebook ads, scare off all your competition, scare off all those other advertisers, and that can lead to lower CPMs, lower cost per thousand impressions, and that can lead to a significant improvement in your results. And there's no doubt that if we look at CPMs now as opposed to 5 years ago, the difference is, really significant, and that obviously feeds into costs. So I think there's probably a lot of negativity around the iOS 14 changes. Actually, for those of us that stick around and those of us persevere, it might be a great thing. And I'm absolutely convinced, and I have talked about this a lot, that Facebook's going to find a way to fill in those data holes and find a way to get to have systems and processes in place that give us the data that we need as Facebook advertisers, because they know their platform relies on this. And if they do start to see reductions in quarterly revenue, they're going to do absolutely everything they can to go ahead and change that and to fix it, and to make sure that their customers, their paying customers, which is us, the Facebook advertisers, not the Facebook users, are taken care of and get great results and things like that. One thing I want to mention around this topic here is that whilst we've seen revenue increase significantly, up 48% is what the revenue's gone up Q1 2021 versus Q1 2022. So if you think about, that's the demand for Facebook advertising. The supply, so how many users are on Facebook and Instagram and using it often, hasn't increased anywhere near as much, which is why we've led to cost inflation in Facebook advertising. That's just simple economics. If supply is fairly fixed and demand increases, the price goes up, right? Now I think what we're going to see is we're going to see a similar supply. I don't see huge differences coming in Facebook and Instagram advertising, but I think we're going to see a decrease in demand, which should lead to a decrease in price, because Facebook advertising is as close to a perfect market as you can get. It's done on an auction, very much the prices adjust in real time. And yeah, so whilst there are certainly challenges going on right now, I think the prices might decrease over the next few quarters, next year or so maybe, and that might be fantastic for those of us that stick it out and work out how to make things work with the new setup, okay? Before we go, a few things I want to quickly mention. The first is our Facebook advertising services. So my company, Lead Guru, is a Facebook advertising agency. We create, manage, and optimize Facebook ad campaigns for our clients. And if you're scratching your head by all the changes going on in Facebook ads right now, wondering how to get results in this setup, we can certainly help with that. We can certainly help relieve that anxiety and take it off your hands, and hopefully improve things, or at least steady things if they've dropped off. So if you're interested in that, what you want to do is go ahead and book a free call with one of my team members. A link will be in the video description below. You can go straight to our website, book in that call. We do require that businesses have a 3K per month minimum budget to work with us, so please only book a call if you meet that criteria, otherwise we won't be able to help you at this point. And yeah, just no obligation call to find out more about what it is that we can help you out with. And yeah, should be useful. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. If you enjoyed the content, give it a like. That really helps me out. Comment below to let me know. That's also really, really appreciated, really helpful. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but it does make a big difference. And subscribe to my channel if you're new and you haven't done so already. Thanks a lot, guys. Best of luck. I'll talk to you soon.